How is it going, everyone? It's Kalumity here, and today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront, the original Battlefront from the early 2000s. This game is fantastic. Even to this day, I still love going back and playing this game. It's just one of those games that really never gets old, especially because of all the different maps that it has, the different game modes that are really enjoyable, and even the historical campaign that's in this. Even though it's pretty generic by today's standards, it's still a fun thing to go through just every now and then. The historical campaign is definitely more of a tutorial to get you set up for the rest of the game, and then once you're done with the historical campaign, you're definitely going to want to jump into the Galactic Conquest mode and instant action right afterwards, because that's where all the thick of the action is. But the historical campaign does have some fun missions and some just really cool scenarios, like, of course, the droids fighting the Gungans like they did in Star Wars Episode 1. You get to play through that and see that. That's a really cool mission. I really enjoy that one. You get to fight some of the Naboo Guard as the droids. Again, just really cool Episode 1 stuff, and I'm a huge Episode 1 fan. Not even sorry to say that. I love Episode 1. Don't care. But I like the campaign. It's not great. Like I said, it's mainly a tutorial, but it's not something that, it's not something that I would ignore completely. It's something that's fun to go back to every now and then, but for the most part, my heart lies with the Galactic Conquest mode. I love the Galactic Conquest mode, especially in Battlefront 1. Why do I love the Battlefront 1 Galactic Conquest mode? Because as the Empire, you can blow up a planet, which is pretty cool. And if you're the droids, you get to put up a blockade around the planet, which, isn't quite as satisfying, but, at least there's some sort of option. But yeah, the Galactic Conquest in Battlefront 1 is awesome. You pick a planet to invade, and each planet has 2 maps, and if you completely take over the planet, you successfully take over the planet, you actually will get a bonus from that planet to help you in future invasions. So you may get a Jedi Hero bonus from Tatooine, which will let Darth Vader, if you're the Empire, will let Darth Vader be on the field with you attacking the enemy. If you are taking over another planet, you may get a sabotage bonus, which will let you sabotage the vehicles at the very start of the game, so the enemy vehicles will already be damaged, and just stuff like that. And it makes for a really fun, just action-packed, command post capturing good time. I really love the Galactic Conquest mode. It's definitely my favorite. Battlefront 2, they definitely expanded on it, and in a lot of ways, I will say, there's a lot of improvements, but sometimes just the simplistic nature of Battlefront 1's Galactic Conquest is just what I crave. So I go back and I play Battlefront 1's Galactic Conquest just because it's what I'm craving at the moment, Sometimes simplistic is just more enjoyable, especially if you are looking for just, something to play real quick, go through the entire thing, and be done within like an hour and a half. Because the Galactic Conquest in Battlefront 2 definitely takes longer than the Galactic Conquest in Battlefront 1. Now, the main event really is the instant action, of course, because you can make your own playlists of maps to go through, and you can play on these maps as any side that you want, except for a couple of them, like Geonosis, you have to play as the clones, and Endor, you have to play as the stormtroopers, and, those ones are locked to their time periods, but the rest of the maps, for the most part, are pretty much, you can pick Clone Wars, or you can pick, the Reign of the Empire, so that's really cool. You can pick a bunch of different maps, you can pick what side you want them to be on, what time period you want the map to be on, and then you get to select, your droids versus the clones, or you can pick, the Empire versus the Rebels, and you can just make an entire playlist going through these maps over and over and over again, and at the end of the playlist, it will just completely reset back to the beginning of the playlist. So you basically get a never-ending loop of gameplay, which is a lot of fun, and it basically means you can quit whenever you feel like it, which is really cool. I wish more games actually these days would have that ability, because that's a really nice ability to not have to go to the main menu after every single game. And you don't really see a whole lot of games these days doing stuff like that. So this was, in a way, ahead of its time when it came to that. But yeah, I absolutely love the map selection in this game as well. One of the reasons I love Battlefront 1 so much, in fact, I like Battlefront 1 more than Battlefront 2, is because of the map selection. I love the Dune Sea, for example. I love Naboo Plains. I love Kashyyyk Docks. There's a lot of maps in this game that didn't make it in Battlefront 2, which is unfortunate because there are a lot of good maps in this game, and honestly, Dune Sea is probably the best, in my opinion, the best map in any of the Battlefront games. I absolutely love the Dune Sea. I love flying over the Sarlacc pit. You know, being able to dogfight over the Dune Sea is pretty cool. I really like that. And that's another thing I gotta mention about this game. The seamless transition from ground warfare to air warfare. You know, being able to just run around on the ground, hop into a tank anytime you want, and just battle it out. It's seamless and it works great. And another thing, you can play third person or first person in this game as well, which is another really cool thing that was way ahead of its time. The fact that it actually lets you decide, hey, do you want to play this in first person or third person? And honestly, both ways I enjoy playing. Sometimes I'll just go back and forth just because I can. You know, it gives me both options. So every now and then I'm feeling third person, I'll be like, oh, I'll turn it to third person. Every now and then I want to play in first person, I'll turn it to first person. Usually I play third person if I'm planning on being on a vehicle a lot, because I don't like being in first person in a vehicle. It just doesn't really feel right to me. But when I'm doing ground warfare, I'll be first person because I don't mind it then. To me, it makes more sense for that. Just because whenever you go into the vehicle, it's like harder to see. You can't really see what's around you, which, I mean, yes, it's more realistic that way. But, you know, it's a video game still, so I'd rather it be more arcadey. But overall, yes, this game is fantastic. It's still worth playing to this day. It's a great time. If you somehow missed out on Star Wars Battlefront 1 when it first came out, it's still worth playing to this day. It's one of the best Star Wars video games ever made. Back in the day, there were so many good Star Wars video games, and I plan on talking about a lot more on this channel. And I already have a couple more videos coming up soon, and I think you're going to be excited to see what they are if you're a fan of Star Wars. We got Star Wars Bounty Hunter coming up and Star Wars Battlefront 2 coming up, so I hope that you subscribe and hang in there for those two videos coming up in the next few weeks. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Go play Battlefront 1. It's definitely worth your time. One of the best Star Wars video games of all time. And even if you've played Battlefront 2, it's still worth going back and playing Battlefront 1 because the maps in this game are so great. And also, I do want to bring this up too. Also, there's like third-party NPCs on some of the maps. So, like, the Tuskens are their own, like, enemy against the droids and the clones. So, the Tuskens can actually capture command posts, too, and they'll interfere in your battles between the clones and the droids, and they'll just fire at both sides. That's another thing that's really cool, the fact that there's these, like, natives that will, you know, defend their command posts as well. That's something else I just wanted to bring up real quick. I'm glad I remembered that before I ended the video. So there we go. But yeah, go play Battlefront 1. It's a command post capturing good time, and it's a great game. And I'll talk to you next video. You have a great day, and God bless.